Forget gurus. Forget anyone claiming to be an online business expert without going through the challenges of entrepreneurship themselves. The Real Money, Real Business podcast is here to prove the best insights in online business comes from your fellow online business builders. We dig into stories of entrepreneurs selling their business on the Empire Flippers marketplace so that you can learn how they made their business profitable, how they overcame obstacles, and what lessons they learned in their online journey. If you want to take your business and your knowledge to the next level, you've come to the right podcast. Let's get started.
Hey everyone, Branden here with another great business to discuss on this episode of the Real Money, Real Business podcast. Today's guests are Misato and Dejani, and they're selling their display advertising business on the Empire Flippers marketplace. So welcome to the show, Misato and Dejani, and how are you both doing today?
Hi, Branden. How are you? Thank you for having us today. We're doing awesome.
Hey, Branden, what's going on? Thank you.
Okay, yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, it's really nice to have you both on the call today and to speak to you about this business that you both have been building. But before we get into the details and kind of what's included in the business, let's give a general overview of the business. So it is a display advertising business in the food and beverages niche, created in August 2018. The average monthly revenue for the business is $6,298 per month and makes an average of $6,175 per month in net profit. For everyone listening, you can visit empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing 51790 to learn more about the business, or you can unlock this listing to start your due diligence if you're interested in purchasing this asset. So now that I've given a general overview of the business, what's included in the sale is the domain and all site content and files, an email list with over 1,287 contacts stored in MailChimp, and social media accounts for Pinterest, Flipboard, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So Misato and Dejani, can you tell us a little bit about your background in building and running online businesses?
Okay. So we've been in this online business for the last, I want to say about 9 years. Johnny started out as a developer. He built the first site from scratch using Django and then Python. But for the last, I want to say 6-7 years, we've been focusing on internet marketing, content marketing, and
Just finding opportunities where we can, finding on top opportunities where we can come in and, build a new site, very much like the one that we have listed now, Empire Flippers, and try to go with social media and also organically.
Yeah, I noticed within this listing that you guys have a strong following within Pinterest as well. And we'll get into those details as far as the social media side of the business is concerned in just a minute. But I'm curious to learn, so why choose this specific business model? Was there something within the content business space or that you noticed that just offered a lot of great opportunity?
yeah, for all those years in this business, but one thing that we really enjoy, come to really understand, what we enjoy is content marketing and social media marketing. And it just stuck with us all these years. And this business model just is something that, we feel most passionate about and we enjoy doing. And we've found a lot of strategies that work over time.
Yeah, it makes us, we always like the display advertising model because obviously, it gives you the freedom where there's no customer service, so you can build a lean business where you don't have to hire people to ship, to pack, and using the different, coming up with product, those sort of things. So it allows you just to do what we do best, which is create content, and serve the audience to that, and, helping them understand the topic and just the information. There's no charge to them, but it allows us to earn.
Yeah, allow us to monetize.
To monetize it to advertising.
Okay.
So it gives us the freedom that we don't have to deal with shipping and customer service, that sort of thing.
Gotcha. That's really common for most content business owners. It's trying to avoid the e-commerce pitfalls, I guess you could call them, with someone that might not be as familiar with that type of core skill set. But I'm curious. So you both have been in the content business space and content marketing space for over 7 years. Why decide to go into the food and beverages niche? Was there something that stood out to you that offered great potential during the years of performing content marketing that you saw as a great opportunity?
We started at the site, and through that site, we always, researching and on the lookout for, what's coming up and then what people are interested in. And then one thing that we noticed when, back in 2018 when we started this site was this food and beverage niche that's, that we got really interested in. And we saw a lot of opportunities, and there were a lot of sites that cover the topic in a way that, we felt like that the niche really deserve. And so we wanted to start something there and then offer content that really serve the audience.
And also, too, I want to add in, like, to doing research using social media site channels like Pinterest and Facebook, we could see some of the content that was going viral. There wasn't any major sites that really covering that topic, so we wanted to create something that really covers that topic as a whole. So we can just create a hub for all the people that are interested in that topic. Yeah.
Okay.
The time.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And it's a great, opportunity that you found. And obviously it's been working out for you both, and seeing the business trends and the growth projections as well is great to see that things have taken off the way they should be. Now, so if the business is doing so great at this time, why is it that you both have decided you would like to sell it?
So, we have several more websites that we run on a daily basis. And it's, at some point it gets really hard to manage them all and then give each site the attention it needs for it to really see its full potential. And then
just to add in, some of them, as you mentioned earlier, like, we're not big in the product sector area, e-commerce, and some of the site visitors regularly ask about different products they can use, with some of the things on the site. We often recommend a product to other companies. We feel like, it's probably time we move on and, let somebody else take it to what the site, help the site become what it can become and serve those audience even better than we could.
Yeah, true. Yeah, there were a lot of our readers ask about products and then the ebooks or different products that we just don't have time to create or couldn't really manage to provide that. And then that will be the next step for this site, we believe. And
we're not expert in that area, so we want to let somebody who have more expertise in the e-commerce sector and also digital product sector to, I think they'll probably better serve those.
Instead of us trying to do it all, I think somebody who is more knowledgeable or can seize those opportunities and provide something for our audience, and in a way that I feel like they can serve our audience needs a little better than us trying to manage that. On top. Yeah.
Plus, this site was more of a tester product for us. We didn't know it was going to go to that extent, and I think that it has grown to a lot more that we want to, manage.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah, I know with a lot of sellers that usually comes to a point where you'd like to pass the baton on to someone that can ultimately scale the business further than, what the actual core skill set you're familiar with might happen to be. And we'll get into some of the opportunities and, some of the future ideas that you have for the business in just a moment. But I'm curious, so was there anything that you learned while growing this business that you plan on applying to your current or future projects down the road?
Yeah, absolutely. Some of the things that we learn is that I guess we would say maybe having a digital product that to go along with, that's where you can, one of the things that, again, I know is in terms of like having a digital ebook that people ask a lot for, we didn't have that. I think it kind of slowed. I think probably I'll focus more on that. And probably for my next project, I'll create one at the beginning, just as early as the website, we're creating the site. So we can show the customers, the visitors getting that as well. Since it's been so demanded, you've been asking about so many visitors. The other thing I learned I apply to other businesses probably, I would say get involved in SEO like earlier. I didn't think the site will do as well as SEO that he's doing now. And if I did apply more SEO early on in the earlier phase, the site would have been heavily doing really, 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 really well organically. I would say that I'll probably that into my next venture in terms of starting early on, as early as possible.
Okay. Yeah, I completely understand it. And, it's kind of one of those things when it comes to content businesses, knowing that you have to play in the sandbox before they ultimately release you into ranking is something that you definitely need to take into consideration at the beginning. So it's great to hear that, you've kind of learned from that process with building this business. Now, was there anything that you tried with this business and it just didn't give you the ROI that you were expecting?
I think when it comes to this site, we can think of so many things that we could have tried, but we didn't. And then we try, this and this and this, and that this don't work. It's more of so many things that we don't really try. We don't get to try.
Some of the, I would say, like in terms of content, obviously listicles do better than actually how to on it. That's the only thing on that particular part of the site. So initially we started doing how to, but when we try some listicle posters like
On social media.
media, and also it helps, it drives a lot of traffic, and also it helps quite a lot of unnatural backlinks, right? Too, because I guess people like it. It was, yeah. So
Okay.
I think someone hard to didn't do so well. I would say probably will change that.
Gotcha.
Articles, content.
Okay. Yeah, it's good that you've kind of established what has been working for the business now, and then ultimately a potential buyer could come in and focus on scaling that particular part of the business model further. Now, looking through the listing, I've noticed that, this business, a majority of the traffic is coming from social media. Would you say that your biggest driver is Pinterest, or do you have more traffic coming from another platform on the social media side?
No, you're correct. Pinterest
is our biggest source of traffic.
Okay.
And then also direct traffic as well. And you are correct. Pinterest is our biggest source of traffic.
Okay. And I noticed here you also have about 4% of the organic search traffic. So another opportunity that's great for a potential buyer that could come in and maybe focus more on the SEO side of the content and building and ranking, organically on that end. So awesome to see that you already have that established and, a low-hanging fruit for a potential buyer to consider. Now, are you doing anything else in terms of marketing, say with the email list or any other forms of like advertising or any display ads outside of on Google, things of that nature?
We use Mediavine for ads. We're not doing any. That's the only type of marketing that we. No, we don't actually do any types of marketing for traffic. But
okay, so no Pinterest or Facebook advertising or anything else to that nature as far as paid traffic.
Flipboard is not a good source of traffic for us. Flipboard does very well. The post does really, really well. Yeah.
Okay. Are you doing anything currently with the email list as far as monetizing it or sending subscribers through specific campaigns based on where they are in the marketing funnel?
No, not at all. No.
Okay. So another opportunity for a buyer to, potentially come in and optimize the email marketing campaigns as well. So that's always good to see as well at the same time. Now, hypothetically speaking, if you both were to keep this business, what are some of the ways that you would like to try and grow it?
If I were to keep this business, I would heavily focus on SEO. Reason being is that also Pinterest can be much bigger. There's a lot of opportunities, a lot of potential content that has not been covered. I think I can do very well with the Pinterest community, as well as Flipboard as well. But the biggest, where I'll focus most of the time, probably be a lot of it organic. Because I feel like if you look at analytics and like Ahrefs or something, that if you look at from number 11 to like 20, we have about 1,000 or plus keyword that's sitting there waiting to go to page one. Just moving those to page one probably it can bring you and the amount of traffic those keywords have, search value will definitely see a huge impact in terms of traffic, and also will boost your revenue automatically. So if I were to keep this business, I think within 60 days and perhaps even less, since Google already trusts this website really well, and automatically with a little bit of work, you definitely boost the traffic organically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a really great opportunity. And I'm sure our potential buyers that are listening to this call can also see the value in potentially going down that revenue route and trying to expand there as well. Now, on the flip side of that, do you feel that there's any particular risks that a potential buyer should be aware of prior to acquiring this business?
Well, with most websites, the algorithm change with Pinterest, with any social media, it can affect the traffic a bit. But again, it's been running it for over 2 years. You can see it changes, but it's not, as long as you're doing things according to the best practice, you always come back and allows you to grow. So yeah, there's potential, change in algorithms and, on Pinterest or Google or any other social media channel that can negatively affect the traffic in the short term, I think is.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Now, one thing I did notice within your listing was in August 2020 and September 2020, you did have a bit of a spike within revenue, gross revenue, and net profit as far as traffic as well. Was there anything in particular that you had been performing at that time that might have reflected this?
Was it 2018 or 2019 year?
August 2020 and September 2020.
Oh, August 2020. Yeah, I think, spring of 2020, that's when the pandemic really, took a toll on almost all states across the U.S. And so our traffic kind of took a dive around that time. And then I think around this past that phase and through the summer, our normal traffic actually started coming. So the August, September traffic is kind of like a similar traffic I think we used to see, but it just the 2020 beginning of it, it was just more volatile than in a way that we never seen before.
The spike up in numbers was more so from people staying home longer and maybe researching more topics within the food and beverages niche. Okay.
So.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's just something that we always like to bring up. So
it'll normalize a little bit around that time, maybe.
And for example, if we look at this month and things start going back to where it used to be from the beginning, like higher again, traffic is going up, income is going up back to, at the peak, right? So I think people might start to settling down. The epidemic is not over, obviously, but people trying to, back to regular life, doing things that they normally used to do.
Right.
Okay.
So you can see
got it.
The growth is started to.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, completely understandable. Now, so I'm curious, what is the typical tasks or the operations that you're performing on the business at this time on a weekly basis?
As for me, I update content here and there. And then we also do Pinterest marketing, so release some images, or if I update content, then I will promote that there. And same thing for Flipboard. And so those are the main focus main task that we focus on for the site.
So yeah, we spend about 10, 15 hours a week and kind of...
Yeah, about average 10.
10 hours a week,
And primarily focusing on updating content and then focusing more on the Pinterest social posts and social media traffic and as far as posting.
Yeah, social media for Pinterest and also on creating and, and also Flipboard to keep the traffic. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Now, do you think that there's any particular skill set that a buyer should have prior to acquiring your business? Or do you feel that a majority of the workload or the operations can be learned during the transition period once the sale has been completed?
Absolutely. I think it's really easy to learn. It's not much. I mean, one of the reasons we choose the business model that we do choose for this site because it's so easy. You don't need, anyone can do it. I think it's pretty easy. The content, everything is almost self-explanatory. It's easy to learn. Obviously, they can learn to transition. Probably just in a couple hours, just explaining to them, show how it works. I think it's pretty easy to learn.
Okay. No, that's really good to hear. Okay. Nice. Yeah, it's really great to hear that, it's not a dire need in order to have a specific skill set in order to take over the business. And the fact that you're pretty confident in, as far as a buyer, not even having these specific skills that you're performing, could also learn this within the transition period. So yeah, that's always great to see. Now, are you both willing to commit to a non-compete, meaning you'll stay out of this specific niche with any current or future projects for the next 2 years?
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Perfect. And then how much support are you willing to offer potential buyers? Are you going with the typical 30 days of email and Skype support, or did you have something in addition that you would like to add on to that?
30 days and plus, if they have any questions, they can always reach out to us, and then we're more than happy to help out and make sure the business is running smoothly.
Okay.
I mean, it's our baby, the business, so we want to make sure that the person can understand how it works and get help taking care of it as much as they need. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really great to hear that you're willing to make sure that the new owner is going to succeed with this business. And I'm sure potential buyers can also see the value in that as well, too. Now, are you open to negotiating something like an earnout where you'll receive a large portion of the sales price up front and then smaller payments closing out the deal over the course of a few months after that?
Preferably not. I think the business is solid. I think I would prefer just,
Yeah.
Probably not open to negotiate that.
If you look at the site this month too, it's doing really well, far better than the last month, or probably I'm not looking at my statistics right now, but what's been the average for the last 12 months, this month will do much better than that. And so I think, whoever will take over this site will be very happy to see the performance level of this month and also for all the coming months. And we're happy to provide, the support that they will need to really, transition smoothly and then help them grow it. And we're happy to kind of show, daily task what we do and then what they can do to really grow it and not just maintain it, but take it to another level.
Okay. It's great to hear that you're willing to offer that additional support and make sure that the business does succeed after the deal has been completed. So I'm sure potential buyers can also see the value in that regardless. And things can always be discussed during negotiations moving forward for, the better for both parties with the deal. Right. Now, just a few sideline questions for you both before we wrap this up. So what advice would you give to our listeners that you wish you knew when you first started this business?
Oh, that's a really good question.
Number one advice is focus on one channel at a time. I think that a lot of time you see a lot of things as, this working for this other person. You want to test out everything, kind of, you have to see where your audience are and then kind of focus on that. But 100%, I think, it's going to help you grow the business much faster because you can target them directly.
Mhm.
Now, with social media work for every business. With particular side, we find out Pinterest and Flipboard works the best. With other side that we find out Facebook and other channel, Instagram work the best. So it's finding which niche, which social channel or with marketing that work best for that business. Stick with it and put 100% into it versus
You'll be
spreading.
you're
Yeah,
spreading yourself thin. I
right,
completely agree. Really understand where your audience are, where they might be looking for a type of
right,
content they're looking for, the
right,
informations, and try to really, commit yourself being there and
right.
do well in that,
Serving them.
serving their needs there, and then really understand what it is that they're looking for, and then what type of media format they're looking for, and
Right.
yeah, one channel, one social channel at a time. If social is where you're going, if it's SEO, then focus there. And then once you kind of get a feel of it, then see it, anywhere else you can spread
Right.
your wings a little bit and capture more audience there. At least that approach really worked for us.
Mhm.
It helped us really get the exposure that we really needed in that channel.
Right.
And then you can see that in the traffic that we've seen so far, given that it's only been operating for 2 years and some months. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, it's a really solid mention that you brought up is, not spreading yourself too thin, focusing more on where your audience is, making sure that you hone in that particular, targeted audience before you start spreading yourself out into other traffic sources. I completely agree with you on that. Now, would you suggest what types of software or tools do you feel have really helped you at the start of building this business?
We use
Ahref.
We use
Ahref,
Ahref.
okay.
It's good.
Google Trend.
Google
Google
Trends,
Trend,
yeah. Okay.
Canvas.
Yep.
Nice.
Canva.
Okay.
Well, Canva for image creation.
Oh.
But yeah, really trying to understand where people's interests are on those sites. And also Pinterest itself has a trend analytics and then we definitely use that. And also, like Flipboard or news channels or different things,
Right.
like, just keep an eye on it and see, what people are interested in these days, and then what type of
You subscribe to those
recipes or, food cravings
food
they're
craving,
having,
yeah.
or, yeah.
Subscribe to those other Flipboard and even Pinterest to the
Yeah.
email, so you can see what they're emailing out
Yeah.
for that month, for the season, so you can have an idea what's trending
Yeah.
and what you're gonna be focusing on in terms of content creation.
Yeah, but in terms
For that
of software analytics, we use Ahrefs, and
Right.
I'm always checking Google Trends too.
Yeah, those, I'd say probably the two pieces of software I enjoy using the most is Ahrefs and Google Trends, is because it's always interesting to see what people are searching for. And, there's
Yeah,
really, they say there's no point in
definitely.
creating content if you don't think that anyone's actually going to read it or gain any value from it. So it's always great to use those tools, with them, being so in depth as far as
Right.
what people are searching for. So yeah, I completely agree with you. Now, just final question to wrap this up for you both. So putting yourself in the shoes of a buyer, why do you feel that your business is worth buying?
I think it's got the strong, social media presence. It's good to always start on top of what's already been built, because we already have audience building. I think we have over 10 million monthly viewers there. And then the
Organic
it seems to have some foundation there.
Right.
And those things are, make operating a site,
Right.
like this one, content display ad site, so much easier than
Right.
just starting from scratch and try to build all this audience and traffic source. It takes a lot of time and effort, and in a lot of ways,
I think all the
yeah.
I think all the heavy work has been done. Is the areas improving model. Even if I was a buyer, when you come in, you don't really add anything extra. All you have to do is operate and multiply the content, and that's gonna go your traffic, is gonna go your revenue. Now, if I was the buyer, like I was saying, I'd probably put 50% a little bit more work in SEO and to go that, it's gonna make it easier to grow. So I think the model is there. You're always looking for, even myself, I'm always looking for a proven business model that works. All I have to do is to add fuel to the fire to make sure to multiply it, to grow it,
Absolutely.
Just simply, I think we did a lot of heavy lifting for the site. I think now it's on the smooth sailing, and then I think that makes just operating and continue to earn the income from the audience that we have now makes much easier.
Right.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. And it's something that we talk about quite often here is, picking up something that's already been established, already has a solid foundation, and then really focusing on scaling the content, scaling the audience, and ultimately growing the revenue that way. So that's really great. Yeah, that pretty much wraps up this call for you both. Really appreciate you both coming on the call and, talking to us a little bit about your background and kind of where you have taken this business over the last couple of years. And was there anything else that you'd like to add that I might have missed?
No, as for me, I think you covered a great deal.
Okay.
Yeah, same here. I mean, if the buyer, again, have any questions, we're here. We're more than willing to answer any questions and talk with them. And
yeah, absolutely.
Email to voice call, whichever one they like.
Perfect. Yeah, it's always great to hear that, you're willing to go above and beyond. And, the potential buyers that are listening to these calls, they usually gain a lot of value from that and usually move forward with the process once they know that added support is there for them. So yeah, that pretty much wraps up this call. Really thanks again, Misato and Dejani, for jumping on the call and talking to us about your business, and looking forward to seeing this listing getting sold for you here in the near future.
Awesome.
Well,
thank you. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you so much. And all right, everyone. So thanks for listening. To learn more and to see if this listing has already been sold, head over to empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing number 51790. If you're watching this on YouTube, click the link in the description to go straight to the listing. And once you have unlocked the listing, you'll be given everything you need to know about this business. So until next time, enjoy your digital journey.